Canelo Alvarez down to fight Jake Paul. Never say never, but he will never fight Demetrius Andrade, so he says. So I had to make a second video. I said, subscribe to the channel and follow us. I'm back with a follow-up for the followers. Let's get it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I don't know how you found this video, but somehow, some way, you made it. Subscribe to the channel and throw a like on the video. It's a free gesture, simple gesture, takes a few seconds, and it goes a long way when you guys do just that. Appreciate everybody. I'm back with part 2. I had to make a follow-up to a video. Now, Canelo Alvarez did an interview, brand new, link in the description. Please watch part 1 of this video if you didn't see it, because it's pertinent to what I'm talking about. You'll be able to hear my words. And funny thing about being an online creator on YouTube, I'm a full-time, been doing this, blah, blah, blah. And some of the boxing fans are not the smartest, and they have selective hearing. So we got to come back with another one. I had to do a follow-up video and stake my claim on what I said. Now, the insecure beta male Canelo fans took the video that I just did and completely twisted words that I never said to try to fit this narrative that I'm against Canelo. So I had to make this video to clarify what's going on. So, for example, in the video, I said that Demetrius Andrade and Canelo Alvarez, for Canelo to say that Demetrius Andrade will never get the fight and he's not deserving, or he sucks, or he's too horrible and boring, doesn't make any sense. And that's not what I prefer to hear from a fighter. Nowhere in the video did I say or suggest that Canelo, who has a fight scheduled with Caleb Plant, should he pull out of the fight to fight Andrade. But somehow, some way, in an awkward attempt to try to defend Canelo, this is the comprehension skills, or this is what some people gather. Once again, for the record, I didn't say that he should forego undisputed to focus his sights on Demetrius Andrade. There's no space in that video, if you watch it, where I said that. In fact, in the video, I said that the fight with Caleb Plant is scheduled, and it's a great fight that I'm looking forward to it. But somehow, some way, Canelo fans are looking for any way to refute me and defend Canelo. So what I've done in part 2, this is the best part. I will reframe it so everybody, if you know, you know, and I don't even have to do this. But again, this is free views for me because people want to hear the topic. I've put the clips back to back, and I'm going to restate my claim. So this is Brian Custer interviewing Canelo. Let's listen.
William on Twitter asks, hey Canelo, why have you continually refused to fight Demetrius Andrade? Never at 154 or at 160, and he holds a belt. You call him boring, but you smash Billy Joe Saunders, and his style is similar.
No, he's a horrible fighter. I never want to fight with him.
You heard it yourself. Canelo Alvarez says no, because he is a horrible fighter, so I never want to fight with him. That's what Canelo says. He's so horrible, I never want to fight with him. Let's play it again.
William on Twitter asks, hey Canelo, why have you continually refused to fight Demetrius Andrade? Never at 154 or at 160, and he holds a belt. You call him boring, but you smash Billy Joe Saunders, and his style is similar.
Very respectable question from the fan, and it was very direct, where you could tell the fan knew what they were talking about in their line of questioning. So again, respects to that particular fan for such a specific question.
William on Twitter asks, hey Canelo, why have you continually refused to fight Demetrius Andrade? Never at 154 or at 160, and he holds a belt. You call him boring, but you smash Billy Joe Saunders, and his style is similar.
No, he's a horrible fighter. I never want to fight with him. Uh, he 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 fought with anybody. So
You guys heard right there, Brian Custer, he was like laughing and, you know, just because he's had Demetrius Andrade on his show as well. And he almost seemed like flabbergasted, like he didn't even know how to even respond to that. He was like, and he's just laughing. Demetrius Andrade posted what you see. Canelo, he looks so scared. This is fear. And my, again, statement in my previous video is this looks weak for Canelo Alvarez to hide behind this notion that Andrade is just so pathetic and horrible that he just never gets to fight. But we're going to kick it up a notch. I just want to make sure we're all in the clear, so my statements are on record as true to what they are.
he fought with anybody. He wanna fight with him. Horrible fighter.
Similar.
No, he's a horrible fighter. I never wanna fight with him. He fought with anybody. So
Lewis.
He's a horrible fighter. He ain't fought with nobody. This is continually what you see predominantly with black fighters, sometimes with Afro-Cubans as well, where you hear all these things like, hey, he's horrible. He needs to sell. He's a runner. You know, he can't sell tickets, all these other things, but let's actually fight. You see it at lightweight with Devin Haney. People are all of a sudden, fighters are turning into promoters saying, hey, Devin Haney, you need to fight a top 10 guy. You need to do this. You need to impress me first. But Ryan Garcia can fight Fonseca, no questions asked. And he lost by stoppage to Gervonta Davis on the Mayweather-McGregor card. And he lost then after that to Tevin Farmer. But he doesn't have to do all these extra hurdles and jump through these flame hoops and these extra steps. And that's what you're seeing with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is simply put saying that Andrade, I never want to fight him because he's just too horrible and boring. And the Canelo fans know they can't justify this talk. And I understand you could be a fan of a certain fighter, but at some point it would be advantageous for you to keep it real. This is not a good look. So Canelo, in the last few years, he said he doesn't want to fight someone of Mexican origin or someone who represents the Mexico flag. So that rules out fights like Zurdo Ramirez, Gilberto Ramirez, and also David Benavidez, right? So, okay, you don't want to fight, even though you fought El Perro Angulo and certain guys, right? Josecito Lopez. Now we can't get David Benavidez fights. Okay, so you have African-American fighters like Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade, who you could have fought at 154, you could have fought at 160, but you never pushed for those fights, and you're the A side. And the biggest problem that I have with this is because at the end of the day, if anybody in boxing can get the fights that they want, it's people like Canelo, because they're in a position of A side leverage. So if Canelo really truly wanted these fights at any point, he probably could have got them, because we know Jamal Charlo had called out Canelo, and we know Demetrius Andrade has. And instead, Canelo's only thing he could say is how horrible Demetrius Andrade is and how much he sucks. And the thing with these old media talking points, in the end, it makes you look bad and is unjustifiable, because if you're going to say he's horrible, wait till the end. I got something special in this video. But beyond that is, how did you justify fighting Amir Khan? He didn't do anything at 55, a man-made division. He hadn't even done anything at 54. And his performance before that was against Chris Algieri, and he got hurt and rocked in the first round. He had already lost to Danny Garcia. So how's he move up and get the fight without having done anything? How did Rocky Fielding get the fight? How did Avni Yildirim get the fight? These are all guys that fought Canelo. Kovalev almost got stopped by Anthony Yarde. He gets the fight. But when it comes to a fighter that we know stylistically probably can give Canelo issues, in Andrade, it's like, oh, he sucks. Canelo would whoop him easy. But Canelo fans aren't willing to actually see this manifest and see it happen. They'd rather just talk and tell you that Andrade gets beat easy. And again, I'm not saying Canelo, he has a scheduled fight and a contracted fight. He has a contract. So I'm not saying he should pull out of the Caleb Plant fight to focus on Andrade. But what I am saying, and I'll reveal in a second, it seems very weird and lame that Canelo Alvarez would just outright have this blanket statement. This is the second time on the Brian Custer show that I can remember that he said that he won't fight Andrade or Andrade's so horrible. But you fought Average Pilgrim in February and he's horrible. He's worse than Andrade. And he's not a champion. And he was coming off a 2-year layoff and a loss to Anthony Durrell by stoppage. So this looks really bad. But finally, in closing, the reason this looks bad, and I know the Canelo Canelo Cinnabons, they can't justify this. He just completely said and ruled out the notion of fighting Andrade at any point. Said, I never want to fight with him, but he did not say never to a YouTuber. Let's take a listen to that.
Billy Joe Saunders, and his style is similar.
No, he's a horrible fighter. I never want to fight with him. He fought with anybody. So.
Lewis.
And what do you think about Jake Paul telling people that he would love to fight Canelo Alvarez in another year or two?
I don't know. We'll see. You never say no, so we'll see.
Okay, I like it.
So he got asked on the same interview. It's not even like I had to string together different interviews. This is the same interview in the same setting within probably the interview. I don't know how long it is, 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, he just told you for a U.S. Olympian and black fighter who's undefeated and a champion at 160, he said, no, never, get out of here. This is a waste of everybody's time. He sucks. He's a horrible fighter. But then he just told you Jake Paul, a YouTuber, no knock on him, that a guy with like 4 fights, he says, oh, hey, we'll see, never say never. And this is also the same guy who tried to roast Mayweather for fighting exhibitions and fighting fights like Conor McGregor. Wow.
I don't know. We'll see. You never say no, so we'll see.
Okay, I like it.
And I'm glad Canelo's speaking English. He said, we'll see, we'll never say no, you never say no. So he said it all in English, so everyone who speaks the English language understood what he just said. Andrade, heck no, never. He's too horrible. But Jake Paul, who was hurt by Tyron Woodley and got 4 fights or whatever, and he's a YouTuber, we'll see. I don't know. So if you think this makes Canelo look great in the comment section, then let me know. Again, I'm not saying he should pull out of the Caleb Plant fight, but for Canelo to be on record with never to a U.S. Olympian, someone who's dedicated their whole life to boxing, but then not ruling out Jake Paul, that's a bad look. That's a L. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully this clarifies all the haters. Smash the like button. I'm out.